All right, and last donation before we get started, we have $25 from Anonymous. Hey, my life has admittedly gone not very squish lately, but in terms of semblance, squish is all things good. I wanted to donate during a run for one of my favorite runners who has been a beacon of light for me. Thanks for that, half. It has helped a lot, even if I didn't say much. I hope your run this morning was very squish. Good luck. And it looks like we're about ready for the N++ speed run, so let's get started.
All right, what's up, guys? I'm Mythical9. I'm gonna be your commentator for this fast-paced co-op run of N++. But first, I'm going to introduce our runners. On the right side of the screen, playing in the green scarf, he's Speed Gaming League Season 1 champion, Cuso Grande 3 champion, Mystery Tournament GDQ 2017 champion, 6-time Mystery Tournament champion. When he's not trying out the latest randomizer, he's going for absolutely every aerial in Rocket League. Put your hands together for self-proclaimed Bubble Bobble enthusiast, Andy! And Krankdud's here. Wait, hold on, you guys don't know Krankdud? You guys don't know veteran Doom, Quake, Dust, and Super Metroid speedrunner Krankdud? Mystery Tournament Top 8 regular Krankdud? When his widow isn't getting shut down by a Doomfist one-trick, he's in the lab learning new tricks and routes. He played Mega Man 02 earlier in this very marathon and set a new world record. Everyone, welcome back to the GDQ stage, Krankdud! I think we're just about ready to start, but before we do, you should know the basics. If you didn't catch the interview earlier, the goal is going to be to find the switch to open the exit door and get to the exit door. Only one player needs to reach the door, and only indeed one player needs to be alive in order to actually finish the level. You know, that's gonna be the case in a lot of these levels. Things that will make you not alive are generally very brightly colored. Red will go boom, blue will go zap. There's some green in there. Yellow is good, it's nice, it's gold. It's a collectible. We're not really too concerned about it, though it is fun to gobble it all up whenever you can. So, I think we're ready. Andy, Krankdud, if you're ready, give me a big thumbs up. All right, they are not ready. All right, we're gonna take a moment to get some of this going. But let me tell you, Andy and Krankdud, every time the 12-hour challenge rolls around, this is something put together by Golden, and it's to inspire speedrunners to learn new speed games. So you're supposed to put 12 hours towards this thing, and a lot of people joined in. They all learn new games. It's a really exciting time. For Andy and Krankdud, what they do is they find a co-op game. And lately, it's been hard because there's been like themed challenges for these things. So Golden, issued one with I can't remember if it was co-op or if it was a like simple platformer theme, but these guys, they did Gunstar Heroes last time, and they ended up, I think, with the world record that might still stand today. They learned N++ for the last one, so they've got a really good dynamic with each other, it's gonna be really fun to watch once we get going. Are we ready now? Am I throwing over too soon? No, we're not ready yet. That's fine. I am an expert in killing time, so we're gonna be okay. Andy and Krankdud are two runners I have a huge amount of respect for, and it's really a treat to watch them run. I think they met doing Mystery Tournament and blind racing stuff, and they're both incredibly talented at improvising and playing under pressure. So I think they're well suited to play on this marathon stage. Was that the thumbs up for me that we're ready to start here? We're still, yeah? We're good? We're good? Audience, are you guys ready? All right, we can go ahead and get it started. I'm gonna count you guys down in 3, 2, 1, go. It's a bit of a lukewarm applause. Everyone was a little, after the false start here, I guess. But yeah, you can see one player is going for the switch, the other's going for the door. Here we see that these mines, they start out deactivated, except for that one at the end there. That one is very much active. This is a common thing. One player is going to have to run into it to clear the way for the other player. And it turns out the person who starts in front is just kind of the person who's going to end up doing it. However, sometimes you can get to the door and keep both players alive. Not strictly necessary, but it is a nice little touch. This switch in the middle, as you can see that in the bottom right corner, it's a little hard to read. It jitters because of the control schemes flickering. But anyway, Krankdud hits this thing, and Andy was not in position to capitalize. So this this blows up in their face a little bit. This is a fun game to run because either everything goes right and it's great, or something goes wrong and it's hilarious. So we get to win either way. Looks like Krankdud is going to jump over the button this time, and we all saw what happens here. Andy going to run his face right into this thing. It's the only way to get out of this tunnel, leaving it all up to Krankdud. He's going to make sure he touches the wall on the way down. This is because if you build up too much speed, you will just crash. Blink and you'll miss it. There goes this level, synchronized jump into the door and the switch. If you build up too much speed in any direction, you will crash into a wall. There's a couple cases where you can build enough speed upwards to crash and take fall damage on the ceiling. So that's something that they're going to be avoiding. Krankdud's a little bit ahead here, so he's going to continue on to the door. There are many cases where the path diverges, and basically whichever is further between the two is the one where the person who's in front is going to go off and do. Krankdud's going to clear the way here with his body to open up the door. And now we've got a really tough level here. They're going to go for this early cycle. Oh my God, first try. Are you serious? Man, this is great. It's not over yet, though. They do have to be a little bit careful. One player needs to hit this switch. Oh, there it is. Beautiful. We are 10 levels in. Again, we're doing the first row here, the A row. So there are 100 levels that these guys are going to be playing, and it is incredibly fast-paced. Here we can see they need to hit the switches to open the gates for the other player. So you've basically got a series of breakpoints here. You need to make sure that you're there to hit your switch for your partner before he's stuck waiting, especially because this is such a momentum-heavy game. You don't want to have to interrupt your speed and stop because it takes so much time to build up your speed again. We've got a really fun strat here. Krankdud's going to go really high, build up a ton of speed, and come screaming in here. And yes, he does manage to get just past him. I love the synchronization on that level when it works out. Another very quick level, one and done there. Moving on to another level. We've got some kind of stick figure out in gold there. He's just been obliterated. Just, I don't know, like the gingerbread man when you go for the head first. Unfortunate accident there. Going to have to redo this one a little bit. Almost the entire top of the gingerbread man has been eaten this time. Krankdud does hit the switch. He pays the price, but we're going to get into the door, and we're going to move on to the next level. These zipper stairs here, they are not going to be climbing or descending them. They're going to cross over. This was a new strat found in a record that was published just 3 days ago, I think it was. It was actually while we were here at the event, so Andy and Krankdud had to watch it and learn and incorporate some of these strats in that run, and that was one of them. Andy is going to hit this switch. Krankdud does manage to just hit that switch underneath that mine. It is very easy to trigger that mine, and that will pretty much end the level. Show some love for Andy and Krankdud as they both, beautiful synchronization there. And now, a really tough synchronized fall. They're both using a visual cue here. One jump there to steady themselves very close to that drone. Krankdud's gonna go on ahead here. That's pretty risky. Andy smartly waits and first try for that level as well. Krankdud's gonna be trying to do 2 jumps, one off the ground, one off the slope. It's gonna get him just enough height to get up to that switch, but it is really tricky here. He's got a couple tries at it before Andy gets to the door. Of course, you need to make sure that you don't run your face into those mines, which just seems to be happening a couple times here. You can see he really needs to just run full speed into the slope or it's not going to work. And it looks like he's not feeling this one, so we're going to do this one the long way. Andy is going to wait by the door here because that's the way they planned it. That's the way they drew it up. It can be fun to try to improvise stuff like that, but it can be really risky, especially on a big stage like this, so I don't blame them for going for it. The right path's a little longer here, and Krankdud's in the lead, so he is going to be the one to go to the door, and it lines up perfectly here. One player cannot get too far ahead of the other, or you can see these doors are going to close behind. You don't want to lock your partner out of forwards progress. There is no way to open those doors once they start, but it is a pretty tense level there. First try there. Going to be going for some corner jumps. Andy up top just got one. Krankdud will do one later on in the level, perhaps right here. No, he does miss it, but you want to miss it on the right side side, not the left side. The left side, you will die. The right side, you just lose a little bit of time. Wobbly blocks here, bouncing all over the place. Krankdud has a nice strat where he goes back and forth, jumping off of 3 of them. Andy follows suit with enough time to find the hole that he leaves in the mines. Here, you don't want to touch the switches. It's going to release drones on your partner. Krankdud tends to hit a couple of these on the way back. I can't tell if this is vindictive or just trying to save a little time, make sure he doesn't touch any of the mines that they leave. Another really quick level here. And now we've got one level where it can be completed by just one person, only a little bit slower than if it is co-op. So if one of these turrets that are trying to draw a bead on them gets them, it's not too big a deal. Moving on to a staircase here with increasingly clever placed mines, but pretty easy. And he tripped or something. No. What he did was he hit the self-destruct button. At any time, you can just blow yourself up, which is usually used to, retry a level if you're in an unwinnable situation. Really tough strat here. They're both going to try to sneak up the left side, and it's not, it's not over. You need to continue on. So both players alive here is very good. Andy's going to be able to hit the switch on the right. Krankdud's going to drop straight down to the door. Oh, Andy almost beat him there, actually. Really good level for Andy, and really good level for both players, actually. Very common to have to retry that level a couple times. Andy slips a little bit here, so it looks like Krankdud maybe he's going to do all the work. He is dodging that missile, and he's going to have to do more work here. Andy trapped in the gerbil wheel of doom here. He's going to have to just do laps while these drones chase him. Krankdud's working to get him out. He's got to get all the way up here to this switch before he loops back around and gets all the way back. It's very easy to get caught by these charging ground drones here. So we'll see if Krankdud's going to make sure he does not touch it. He does. He hits the switch. Andy loops around to the exit, and they're done. Going for corner jumps here. Krankdud gets one. Andy doesn't, but then Krankdud was not able to convert on it afterwards. He is going to play it safe and back up to make sure that the missile doesn't hit him. Andy is going to be in trouble. Well, he's going to hit the switch, and the laser lets him through. It is not easy to get through there. Yeah, that is applause-worthy. How about this as well? The fireworks. Andy's body clearing the way for Krankdud to just go across the bottom of the level. This was another strat that they just learned very recently. Executing on it first try is going to be pretty awesome. And Andy falls just a little bit too far. He needs to make sure to touch either the left wall or the right wall, and they both need to make sure they don't touch that drone. Again, blue means zap. We've got this troublesome drone. Andy needs to juke because his mission is not done here yet. The button is just to the left, so Krankdud's further ahead. He's going to go to the door because it's a little further around. He's going to get to the door. Andy's going to get to the switch. There we go. Moving on to A07. We are about a third of the way through here. There is a mine on top of the door, and if they're going to be safe, they're going to make sure they touch it. Krankdud doesn't like to be safe. He tried to squeeze in between there, but thankfully he died on the mine and not the drone. If you die on the drone, the mine's still there, and the remaining player is forced to do the same trick. And if they don't get it, you can be screwed. So they went for just a little bit of time save there, and thankfully they didn't really get punished for it. Another level down. Here, the top player, Krankdud, is going to be hitting these switches for Andy. They're not really switches. They're sort of freeing this block that moves down. This might be the only level we're going to see this particular mechanic in, and they managed to get through there. And now we've got a race. Place your bets. Krankdud on the left, Andy on the right. Who's going to make it? Who's going to make it? Neck and neck as they go halfway down. There's possibility to speed things up a little bit with a little Mega Man-style ledge jump, but it's really tricky to do in N++. It looks like it's, I'm going to give that one to Krankdud, I think, just by a nose. Andy maybe disagrees a little bit here, but that's okay. We've got a tough level. We're back in sync. No more racing. They need to make sure they stay with each other so that they don't leave this mine behind for the other. And then someone, they're not sure who, I'm pretty sure, they're both doing the inputs as if they're going to continue on. But one of them touches that mine to let the other get into the door. That was a really well done level. We've got another really cool looking level here. Alternating box jumps, touching the ceiling with the mines, but the mines are going to line up for the other player. Krankdud, unfortunately, oh my goodness. Oh, the betrayal. Oh, that was so dirty. Oh my goodness, but I don't know, they have to figure this out now. They have to put this behind them because they have a lot more levels and they're gonna be counting on their cooperation. This is a necessary strat here. If the person who dies does not hit the switch, the second person has to bait the drone over to the left before getting the switch. Now we've got this level where Andy's got a lot more of the stage to work with, a lot of really big left and right movements. Krankdud is forced to wait here a little bit. But the reverse is going to be true in just a moment. As Krankdud hits the switch, he is hustling back to the switch because Andy is going to get to this door pretty quick here. Oh, this missile might have something to say about him. All right, nice dodge. And Krankdud gets the switch. All right. And now we've got a new mechanic here. The ghosts of Andy's past are catching up to him. And I don't know what horrible thing you did to make all these guys, they're just pouring out endlessly, and they will absolutely kill you. So Andy is being very careful here to actually take a very particular path as he hits the switch and frees Krankdud. And whatever Andy did was so heinous that these things will actually also kill Krankdud as well. So he needs to be very careful on this ascent. This is a long level, so it's very punishing if you die. It looks like he's pretty much home free. Nice job there from both players. We've got 2 chutes here, lower and upper. Krankdud's gonna get there first, and now 2 jumps, one off the ground, one off the wall. That's gonna get them enough height to get into this switch and into that door. Really well done. We're almost halfway done here. Straightforward level here, as long as someone remembers to stop and hit this switch in the middle, as may have happened during practice once before. Looks like we're all good this time. We've got some sort of gates here. One mine that is not active that you need to pass through. Very close call there for Krankdud, but he does keep it together. Another level down for these guys. They are absolutely flying. This is a pretty good pace here, but I don't want to jinx anything, so we'll just move on talking about this level. It can be a little hard to tell what is inside the level and what isn't. They're okay with that, but they're not so okay with these lasers. Andy has a possible early cycle here, but yeah, no, he's going to wait. It is really risky. Krankdud's hit his switch. His job is done, so he just rockets up into the ceiling. He's gonna take a nap, he's tired. He's just a little tuckered out. Andy still has to hustle into the door, and he gets there. We're gonna see our first glitch in this level, tiny little glitch. These are one-way gates that they're about to fall through, but by just kind of jumping at a particular time, you can just kind of clip right back through there. Andy's pretty good at it, actually, so he just nailed it. He's the first one into the ball pit, and he gets rejected, I guess. He's right back out. That level's done, well done. Here, Andy, the laser's stopping him from jumping, the turret's stopping him from standing still, and the mines are preventing him from going backwards, so he has to edge forwards here to buy enough time for Krankdud to run through the belly of the beast down here, all the way to the end to hit that switch. He needs to run back through the mines he's already created. He does get through the door. Nice job on that level. We are now halfway through this run. We've got just a smattering of diamonds here. Krankdud's being very careful not to build up too much downward speed. He can actually crash into the floor and die. Andy having a little bit of trouble with some of the wall jumps. Does get zapped by that laser. Both players gonna head up, hit these 2 switches, and then separate again, but they need to catch that little bit of a wall there, otherwise you can see now what that little wall jump gets you. Krankdud a little bit ahead, but nice synchronization here. Andy is gonna go for a corner jump here, and he is gonna get it. Krankdud is gonna touch the switch. Nice job onto the floppy disks of doom. What you wanna do is be careful getting too close to these doors, or you will open it, and you, like a vampire, you will invite something very dangerous into your home. In this case, they are gonna be getting through just fine. We did see some trouble at the end of this level last time, and yeah, Andy is gonna get all the way back down there, making, get in there. Oh, he was so close. Oh, they're gonna have to redo that one. That's a heartbreaker. I shouldn't have said anything, but well, that's the way it goes sometimes. But the beautiful thing about Andy and Krankdud is they're really good at laughing off mistakes like this. It helps in a game like this where dying is generally pretty darn funny. But they've got a really good sense of humor, and they've got a really good sense of playing under pressure. Yeah. We can get some applause for that one. Applause for the world's most dangerous, deadly turret here. Some movement from the players to juke the tracking on it. Krankdud has got a path straight up to the door here, whereas Andy has to do some work. He's gonna make sure he's very careful. And he actually has enough speed to die there. If Krankdud was not standing on the door, he most certainly would have crashed into the ceiling. Just dancing atop the rooftops here, making sure they don't step on the same part of this skyscraper, otherwise they will explode. Speaking of explosions, this is a pretty straightforward level here, but we do see our first rounded edges. They don't have to jump on them too much here in this level, but there is a level that is all circles later on. That will be a big problem. Nice jump getting up here. Player who's in the lead is going to go ahead and hit this switch. And now we've got a really tough level here. There's a number of cycles they need to make to catch these drones, particularly Krankdud. It just turns out the way the level is laid out, Krankdud needs to work a little bit harder to stay in pace with Andy. So far, he's done a really good job of making some of these early cycles, and I think he's got basically one more tricky moment coming down off of this fall. And, oh, they're good. They're good. It got a little ugly and loud there with the drones, but they're in. We've got a mine of blocking the trampoline. That's the only reason one player couldn't finish this level, so one person's just gonna pop it, and that's it. They did find a pretty clever strat, but it is really RNG dependent, detonating yourself to take out a bunch of mines. Speaking of detonating yourself, Andy is gonna try to crash his body parts into that pit, and he gets it. 2 points for posthumously, I guess, to Andy, as Krankdud is now free to drop in to the door. Andy's got the easiest job in the world here. He runs jump and he's done. Krankdud has got to do one trampoline there at the end of the door. And now my favorite level, we got to make platforms. Andy is basically doing a trust fall exercise here. Andy creating the platforms on the bottom for Krankdud. They are not going to do this slowly at all, and it is a real treat to watch when this all goes well, but it is probably one of the hardest levels to get right. Krankdud got, laid it up a little bit there, but that's okay. They are through. Nicely done. We've got a little, I don't know, it's like a little robot man or something at the top, clearly trying to draw some kind of picture there. That level is already done, so I hope you got a good look at it. Moving on to the next one, we've got some slopes and some triangles here that really try to bait you into doing a jump that is not quite possible. Krankdud smartly doesn't go for it this time. Andy manages to get through those drones there, and Krankdud's gonna beat him to the switch, so Krankdud is not gonna survive this one, but that's okay, Andy's out. And we've got another level here where this row of mines is blocking the way to the exit. A clever explosion from Krankdud to clear the way, and Andy, he doesn't quite, had too much leftward momentum, couldn't quite bring it around, but he's gonna try to sneak in like that, depending on how many mines are cleared here. Just one, so we're gonna see a backup strat here. Andy's gonna go over to the left. It is possible to just barely sneak in there, but it's very, very hard, so he is gonna go to the left to give himself a much better angle, and they're in. Moving on here, both players are going to stick mostly to their own sides of the level here, switch and door, and they're in. Moving on to a very difficult level. The eagles on the outside of the room are rebounding these little drone enemies, and they look little, but their hitboxes are pretty big, and just enough speed to get up to the door. Nice job by Krankdud. We're on A14. I'm almost about 3/4 of the way done right now. We've got just one of these levels, again, that's just like a smattering of geometric objects laid out on a field, but they're generally placed somewhat intelligently to actually create some interesting problems to solve as you play through. Krankdud lost his momentum there, and they were thinking about maybe going all the way over to the right side to hit the switch and back, but probably, definitely, yes, worth it to just reset and redo that one again. Nicely done. We've got a nice little speed skating track here. You know how halfway through you do this little crisscross, and they're gonna just about line up pretty nicely here. Andy needed to be a little further ahead, but the synchronize is pretty good. Here we've got some mines that they need to hold open for the other player. If you wanted to go slow, but we want to go fast, so they just go charging through. A little bit of RNG with these mines. All right, we're in. That is really good. Another very difficult level. Every section here has 3 of these little drones, so there's always one corner that's kind of open, but it takes a long time for those corners to open for the direction that they're trying to go. So they are going to be trying to thread the needle, squeezing between these 2 drones. There's no safe spots. There's no good places to stand, so you are stuck waiting. That was a really well done level. They're going to be pretty happy to be done with that one. And then again, here's just, I don't know, I made some diamonds, so I threw them all together. I put some gold in there a little bit. Just kind of copy-pasted the level together, but they're done. We have another level where we need to clear some way, and a very early detonation from Krankdud. Andy actually couldn't quite react to where the explosion was going to be. He needed to get a jump. Wow! Oh, he almost got that. Well, I think he probably would have crashed into the ground afterwards. He's trying to hit the slope like this, and now he has to do one jump up to the switch, and he gets it. Nicely done. Got another level here where these mines are sort of laid out in a grid pattern. Sometimes they're in the middle, sometimes they're on the floor and ceiling. Krankdud's got the easy part right here, just run right under them, no big deal. But both players need to be careful of these tracker drones waiting for them at the end. Very well done. We've got a couple red herrings in this level. You only really need to hit this switch up on the top right, and then that's gonna open the exit switch and down to the door. Very well done. Really confusing level to look at, but actually quite simple. Krankdud's path is a little shorter here. As long as he's careful, he's having a bit of trouble lately in practice, but he did get that one, and Andy is going to be able to get to the door. All the other places, dead ends, gold, not really interested. Here we see these circles. These circles are incredibly hard to platform off of. You want to wall jump off of something, but there is no wall. It's all floor, and it's really weird. Oh, Krankdud just barely saved himself there, and he, just missed the switch. So they're going to run that one back. You jumping off that little ledge before the switch and then trying to get your guy over to the left side is really tricky. Oh, there's time he actually had a bit of the corner there. And now we're into probably the hardest level. We're gonna call this Hazy Maze Cave. They are gonna be being very careful as they go through these sets of 2 mines here, both the up and down and the left to right. They've carefully planned this out, and they need to make sure they don't hit 2 of these because they need to get all the way to the end, hit the switch, then go all the way back. So this is the longest level, and every single one of these gates, it's not the hardest thing in the world, but when you multiply having to do this one sort of difficult thing like 50 times or something, the compounding difficulty of this level, it makes it one of the hardest ones, especially on the way back. These drones are either going to be on the ceiling or on the floor or on the left or on the right, and you don't have any options on your way back. You've only got the one path that you've left yourself. So if a drone's there, you're gonna have to wait. So there's some routing done to make sure that this happens as little as possible. It is pretty tense here all the way down to the end. We'll see if they're able to keep it together. Krankdud is gonna wait for this drone, and he's in. Andy has this drone here. It's possible to get in there early, but yeah, he's respecting the drone. I like it. And first try on the Hazy Maze Cave. Moving on to a much simpler level, this little curlicue thing here. There's some gold at the end, but we're rushing back the other way to get to both the switch and the door. Very well done. Very short level, very easy to kill your friend here, so they're gonna make sure that they're taking alternate paths. Krankdud got hung up a little bit, and that's a little scary when you're Andy, actually, because you're not quite sure where Krankdud's gonna end up, which of these mines he's gonna activate, but that was really well handled by both players. We've got a really confusing looking level. Kind of ignore what's happening on the far edges of the screen. You've basically got these elevators that are constantly moving, and there's a cycle here that I think Andy might probably wait for. It's been a little bit slow here, so he could run in and could squeeze in there if you're really good, but he's going to play it safe. I think this is the right thing to do. But yeah, they're just kind of cycling around the level, opening up more and more switches until they can eventually open up the exit switch, which is right here. And so now Krankdud is going to open up the exit, and now it's Andy's mission to get into the door. Nicely done on this level. We are on a 17, just 20 levels left to go. And this is a tricky level. You might think as soon as the person hits the switch on the right, it's okay if they die, the person on the left can go to the door. But there is another mine on the left side, so Krankdud needs to wait, hold the door open for Andy, who changes his mind. This is not where he wants to be. He wants to be on the other side of the screen. Krankdud's gonna beat him there. No, he's gonna hit the slope, so Andy's gonna beat him there. I don't know if that was intentional. I wonder after that one move way back earlier. But either way, they are moving on here. We got some more floppy disks. We get, a little bit early. It's still possible to hit this switch, but it's very close. Nice job landing on the slope on the left to make sure he could convert his speed immediately over to the right. Very smart heads-up move by Andy there. We've got some up and down sections here with increasing difficulty. You can see the mines are becoming more and more common, are placed in more and more devious positions. And once they get through here, you can see there's sort of a repeating theme up at the top. The mines are getting closer and closer and closer together, and it can be pretty tricky here. Especially here, you don't want to mess up one of these wall jumps. If you lose your upwards momentum, it becomes very difficult to land 2 wall jumps in between. And hitting all the way on the far left side, very well done. Moving on to one of the funnest levels to route, actually. Just a smattering of things all up in the night sky here. We're interested in these square switches. The mines we can touch once, of course. In the gold, we don't too much care about. Krankdud's path is a little harder here, so it's very common for Andy to get to the exit first. In fact, yeah, he's already done. One more switch, and there they go. We have the return of the hamster wheel here, except this time it's Krankdud's turn to run inside it. Andy's job to bail him out. This is probably why Krankdud didn't do anything devious towards him. In that previous level, he knows this level is a chance for Andy to pay him back, but they're working together. Here we go, just in time to make the cycle on the laser. Very well done. We got 10 more levels left before we're done, and this is an incredibly difficult level. Krankdud on the bottom left, just made a jump there. He's got another tricky jump to get around this guy here, and he does. And Andy hits the switch, but it's good. Moving on. We've got another level that's sort of artificially divided in 2 by these lasers. If the players are fast and quick enough, there's an opportunity for a little bit of a sequence break, I guess I would call it. Andy is going to hit that switch, then double back. While this laser is coming in on him, he's going to hit this switch, and then Krankdud is already there to hit the next switch. Andy's lined up for this switch here, and as long as he gets that before Krankdud has to wait for this laser, then everything's all golden. So that level was done pretty much perfectly by these guys. We've got basically another move together to make sure you don't lock your friend out, and then one sacrifice into the door. It's possible to get underneath there, but there's some turrets waiting to shoot you. It's really tricky. This is a really awesome level. They're gonna really try to hustle. Just a calculated little hesitation there. Just through this laser, just through this laser. I think Andy's a little too far behind. He made it. Nice first try. Oh man, this is a good run. I can't wait to see what this final time is. Holding the door open there as they hit that switch. Nice fall there. They need to make sure that they don't fall too hard. It's possible to sneak through this room. Andy's going to try to get through. He doesn't quite, but he detonates a lot of those mines, so the way is much clearer now for Krankdud, who is going to drop in and clean this up. He just needs one nice drop here through here, and he does it. We've got just 5 more levels left. Really cool level here. Bump the box up for Krankdud to jump, and then you need to be very careful. You need to go fast in order to open the door in time for Krankdud, but you can't go too fast. You will touch that mine on the ceiling, so that was very well done. We got this sort of Krankdud racing around the outside hexagon. He needs to go very fast so that Andy doesn't get caught at the top of the level, and he nails it. We are almost close to done here. We've got the pinball level here. They're doing the launch it out. I totally just bumped my headset there, so hopefully that wasn't too loud. Nice job for both players. Jumping to launch yourself on that slope there is pretty tricky. Needs to wait for this cycle on the laser. Gets it. All right. We've got one level here. This is a really mean level. This the placement of these of the level and the missiles here are absolutely devious. They're going to be very careful jumping over this missile, baiting it for the other player, alternating hitting switches. It is possible, if one of these players dies, for the other player to hit switches on both sides by jumping through the middle and through the enemy. It is incredibly dangerous, and they get it. Moving on to the last level, here we go. They got to hit these switches, lasers and triangles. Let's see. Krankdud hits this switch. Andy needs to wait just a little bit. He gets in the door. Time. I think this is the second time I've had Krankdud on this stage, and we might have a new world record. I think so. This is a phenomenal run from Andy and Krankdud. Oh my goodness, you guys. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna check the time. We'll do the tape and everything, but I think this was a world record. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. It's been an absolute honor and a pleasure to be a part of things. Thanks so much to the GDQ staff for having us. I was just saying this. I'm the real hero, apparently. Strong disagree. I think these guys nailed it. We do want to quick, before we go, shout out the N++ community, especially some of the co-op runners for this category. We've got Zando Toaster, Killing Pepsi, Kostuha, Fnitz, Xella, and JP27 Ace. I'm sorry if I messed up on the pronunciations. I did my best. The N++ community is seeing a bit of a surge in development in co-op runs. So if you're interested, there's never been a better time to check out the Discord. You can find it on Google. Just search N++ Speedrun Discord. That's going to do it for us. Guys, you're watching AGDQ 2019. Stay tuned. We got a lot of great runs coming up.
What an amazing world record from Krankdud and Andy. Congratulations to you both. That was incredible. Thank you so much. We actually had an amazing $200 donation come in from MetaNet Software that said, "Amazing run, guys. Thank you so much for playing N++ and playing it so well. You rock. Thanks to everyone at Games Done Quick, and screw cancer." That's going to be it for me. Thank you so much for having me. I'm going to throw the mic over to Musical Daredevil, so I hope you have an amazing time with him, and I will see you later.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Musical Daredevil. I will be your host for the next game, Warcraft 3, played by Covert Muffin. You guys certainly sound excited. I'm excited. I'm sure Covert Muffin's excited. Like, that's not even a question. So those of you who are longtime watchers of Games Done Quick may remember 6 months ago at Summer Games Done Quick when Covert Muffin ran the Undead campaign of Warcraft 3. And you may also remember a year ago at AGDQ 2018 when Sajiki ran the Human campaign. Coming up next at Awesome Games Done Quick 2019, we will have the Orc campaign, as you can see right there on our amazing break screen. We are still getting ready on setup for that, so in the meantime, I will get to some of your donations. But first, I do want to mention that we did open up a whole bunch of donation incentives between right now and the Diablo 2 run coming on Friday morning. So maybe you have a run you'd like to see something happen in, maybe you have a character name you'd like to get in. If that run is between now and Diablo 2 Friday morning, you can get your donations in for any of those incentives. We have $25 from Manol. Can I please have a shout out to Pat and Scott in Melbourne, Australia? And can you please pay respects to our late friend, Oscar Bonlo? It would be much appreciated. Thank you. We have $20 from Jackal236. Between the amazing runs, great commentary on the couch, and from the donations, on top of Dancing Dad in the crowd all week, this AGDQ has been slowly becoming my new favorite live watch. Can't wait to see what the rest of the week has in store. We have $50 from the Jerry Piece. Proud to make a donation to GDQ in this great cause for the 3rd year running. Please put this towards Octopath Traveler, my game of the year for 2018. Let's get that 60K, everyone. Octopath hype. And checking in on Octopath, yes, it looks like we are almost at 40K out of 60K for that run. That run will be coming up later this afternoon, I believe, assuming the donation incentive is met. So if you would like to see some Octopath at AGDQ 2019, get your donations in for that. We have $20 from Commodore Scrib. Awesome run, half coordinated, and thanks for your inspiring message at the end. We have $25 from Rye Glorgnax. First time catching AGDQ live, so I had to donate. My niece recently recovered from cancer, so here's to more people giving the chance to do the same. Lots of love from Sweden. Donation goes to Runner's Choice. We have $50 from Wombrax. Hey, Wombrax here. While I'm commentating on Half Coordinate's run for the German restream, I wish you best of luck on your run. Amazing work you put into the game. We have $10 from Giuseppe. Good luck to all the runners. Love everything you guys are doing. Much love from the UK. We have $10 from Metabug. More bonus games, more content. Let's put some money to incentives, everyone. We have $50 from Stamp. Have to donate for a game I thoroughly enjoyed. Thanks to all the runners and crew putting in work for such a great cause. We have $100 from Paul Dev. Octopath Traveler or Highlight? Choices. Congratulations to all involved on a fantastic event again.